bugger. That's right. Are we live?
Oh, how would I know?
I'm asking chat. Because usually they'll tell us. Hello? There's chat here, no one's here yet. Do we need to post it? Oh, I'll post them on Discord anyway. Copy. Alright. We will start yapping away anyhow. Sorry, keep getting distracted. Also, grats on Mel for almost getting affiliate.
Oh, yeah.
Got 50 followers today.
That's pretty good.
I think I'm sitting on this chair.
Oh, you're sitting on that chair.
Oh, I know. I moved it forward, so I'm afraid now.
I'll sit on this chair. There you go.
Hi.
How's that?
Yeah, it works out. Can we see chat? Can you read that, Ash?
My eyes are buggered, I can't.
Yeah, I know. So are mine. Where's mostly dead? Easy. Hang on.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Cool beans. Okay, so we're a go.
We are a go, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just...
Where do you want to go?
To space.
And beyond.
To the final frontier, where no man has gone before. I would not even know how to do that. That's the original, isn't it?
Star Trek.
Yeah. That was a good show, was it?
Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Because you would have seen it as it was live?
Yeah, not live, but I saw the original, which was done by Rottenberry, who was the original writer. And I think his name was George Rottenberry. And the interesting thing about him was he was an actual pilot who also was involved in, I think, the Second World War, and I think he's involved in a plane crash too.
Shit.
Yeah, and then he wrote Star Trek.
Which is like pretty... Well, Star Trek like defined the future.
Well, I don't know about the future, but it was I think what it did was because, and the good thing about science fiction, I think, and fantasy, is that you can project anything you like. Like, you're not restricted by the boundaries of our world. So you've got our reality, you've got a whole, and you can explore morals and different things in a whole different perspective. And I think Star Trek did that quite well. There's quite a few episodes.
I do think it's also like did inspire the public to, because like what was sci-fi before Star Trek?
I think I don't know, but
because there's that Monopoly. What's that?
Metropolis.
Metropolis.
That was a German silent movie done in the 1920s, which was pretty
sci-fi
cutting ground for the
Yeah,
time.
well, that's Germany as a whole. Really, they tend to be on the cutting edge of.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go make a joke about something on the cutting edge of other things too, which probably shouldn't have been. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Sci-fi. I think you've seen on the internet. There's an original science fiction story.
Yeah, didn't I tell you
I
about that?
Yeah, that's turned up a few times. So
have you ended up watching it?
Yeah, I did.
Because that was because that came about. I think I put it in my brain juice somewhere. Who are these two good-looking men? Hi, Aussie Tank. Two nerds. We're talking about sci-fi and space and whatever else.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that story was basically parodying, what Greek travelers did, where they would go somewhere, say, "Oh, I saw this and that and this and that," and came back and told the story. And some were they just made up shit apparently. And so this one guy purposely, I wish I knew the name. You don't know off the top of your head either?
Yeah, who?
The writer of the first sci-fi story.
No, I don't remember.
But yeah, he's a Greek dude. It's I think at the start he's like, everyone makes up shit about this, but not me. My story's definitely not made up. And then he just proceeds to go to one level and beyond.
Like ships flying into space.
Yeah, going into space and helping like a galactic war and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
a thing that people have done. So sci-fi has probably been around for as long as people told stories, I reckon.
Yeah. But what would make sci-fi different from just fantasy then?
I think I don't think there's a lot of difference. I suspect that you probably find that as we entered into the 50s, it was based on an extrapolation of what we have now. Fantasy is creating new worlds, whereas sci-fi goes, well, we know we have a rocket ship, and we can now imagine having a rocket ship or living in space, or
so it's like just the future telling of current society, which is why that Greek story would have been like our sail ship went to space.
Exactly,
into galactic war.
I think that's a difference. It's still a form of fantasy, though. I think science fiction writing.
So here's an idea: fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah. As
in, the only fantasy world that popped in my head was World of Warcraft. But like that, building spaceships and space. That said, that's been done.
It has.
So they have sci-fi in World of Warcraft. Is that?
Yeah.
That'll still be sci-fi, won't it?
I guess it would. I mean, you look at 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was a very, it was really cool sci-fi. It still is, even for its time.
Yeah.
But there was a degree of fantasy involved in that too, and it didn't translate well in the movie, but in the book it makes a lot of sense.
So what? Because
the basic story of 2001 is there's aliens. We assume that people not of Earth anyway plant these things, these technical devices all over. I'm assuming all over the obelisk, and it's planted all over the place, and that's supposedly the reason for our intellect or our development. But they eventually have this thing where they find something funny on the moon, and they go there and they find an obelisk buried in the moon, and then that leads them to another one which is out near Jupiter or something towards Jupiter, and they and then contact aliens. And so, but there's a lot of interesting stories in that as well, because the story of HAL, the computer, which brings us to AI.
Yeah.
And AI taking over the world, the scary thing that AI does, because HAL, as a computer, thought he knew better and killed the crew.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what it's about. So that's science fiction, so you get a bit of fantasy in it.
I remember the second movie, which I thought was very bizarre, where a lot of these
obelisks.
How do you say that?
Obelisks.
Just went in Jupiter and made a second sun for whatever reason.
I can't remember the second one.
I remember going, that happened. I don't know why these things happen. They just happen.
It's a very hard. Sometimes movies should not be made in. Books shouldn't be made into movies.
I also think it comes down to I think sometimes, and I was talking about this on stream, I think the other day, where they'll make movies just for the sake of having a movie there, without wanting a story to tell.
Yeah.
Getting back onto the topics of aliens, are they real?
Well,
have they built the pyramids?
No.
Who else built the pyramids?
The Egyptians, I think, built the pyramids.
you might be right there.
I think I'm pretty. I think
it's a safe bet.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet.
But you never know for sure. It could very much be aliens.
It's never. What is it? Physicists and astronomers, not astrologers. Astronomers often say it's never aliens until it's aliens. It's never like. For example, I think we saw Oumuamua, that strange object that come from another solar system floating around. A couple of years ago, discovered by the Hawaiian satellite, and that was a very odd shape. That was
wasn't that like just a long asteroid or something?
Well, it was hard to tell. They think now because we missed it, gone past by the time they found it. They didn't get a good look at it, but they think it's flat. It's probably more of a disc shape, like a pancake, not a cigar shape. But that really then sparked interest in a lot of people, and even people who are well-renowned well-respected scientists were saying, "Oh, this is could be an alien object."
So, why do you think they said that?
Because it was an unusual shape. It had unusual signatures to it, so it did unusual things, like it didn't have a tail like a comet. It didn't behave. It wasn't the same shape, and it wasn't made of the same stuff that normally comets are made out of.
Do we know what it was made of?
No, I haven't got much of an idea. Which is because it's gone now. It's gone out. It's moved out.
Yeah, well, it was travelling fast, but it also came from not here.
No, it came from a different place. Yeah, it came from another world, another place, which is pretty cool.
It is cool. I do think sometimes people will put, it was aliens into these situations where it's just a lack of knowledge.
It's like a God of the Gaps argument.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, it's like if it's, I haven't got an explanation, it must be aliens. I can't. Ancient people can't build the pyramids. Oh, it must be aliens.
So, do you think it was the ancient people can't build the pyramids, or do you think it's the modern people not having the understanding of, ancient people and how they do stuff?
I think it's probably people's misinterpretation of the fact that, well, not misinterpretation, but it is.
Because I was thinking about this the other day, but it's I find when people, for example, flat earthers, they don't understand how fucking gravity works, so they would never be able to build a fucking spaceship. So if they saw a spaceship leave Earth and go into space, I'm like, oh, this must be alien technology. Basically, you get the gist.
Things you don't understand, you must,
there must be someone smarter, or another race that's smarter to do it
But as we discover, and as things go on, and it's always the way, that space gets smaller and smaller because we now know how they built the pyramids.
Yeah.
They learn a lot more as we go along and become better educated.
This comes to the fact that space technically isn't getting smaller; it's expanding.
Yes. From what we understand,
From what we understand, this is all. We're not scientists. We're amateurs.
Not physicists or mathematicians.
Yeah. But I need to get back in my train of thought now. So space is expanding. Do we think? So this comes down to the actual fact that are aliens real?
Yeah.
We don't think they've been to Earth.
No.
No.
I don't think they have. No.
We have not had contact with them, even through distant transmissions.
I don't think so.
But you do think there's aliens?
I think there's. So it depends on how you determine it. Intellectual. So is there other life? I believe the chance of other life existing is very high.
Yeah.
So I think within, we can look back now. 36 billion years, and that's a long time for a lot of things to happen. So the fact that 36
we've had a handful of extinctions since then.
Yeah. We have. Life has risen on Earth several times.
Yeah.
And so the chances are, from the only example we've got is Earth at the moment. That's the only place we can say, oh, this is how it works. We've not seen anywhere else. But from what we've seen here, it would be an assumption that it must happen somewhere else. Now, it didn't happen, all those extinction events happen on Earth. What we consider intelligent life hasn't risen until now.
Yes.
So,
this is a really hard question to answer. What clarifies intelligent life?
I think what they use, and I'm just doing this off the top of my head, but you can Google it, they talk about the ability to I can't remember exactly, but it's you're changing your own environment, and then controlling agriculture, things like that. So controlling environment and building structures, that sort of thing. I can't remember. There's stages to it that they talk about. So there's certain animals and like cockies and that can undo. And what do you call them? Octopuses can undo lid. They're very clever.
Yeah.
But they don't build spaceships. So the
Do
fact
you have to build spaceships?
No, that's me. That's my extrapolation.
So, what would an octopus have to do to be considered intelligent?
I think they'd have to build
a house.
Well, they can build houses, and they often do build things, not houses per se. Sorry, excuse me.
I think that's mostly mum.
Mostly mum, sorry.
Did you need to answer it?
Just quickly say, excuse me, everyone. Hi, sorry, we're just doing our podcast, babe.
Don't say fuck, shit, or bugger.
Did you hear that? You're on air. Okay, see you soon. Bye. Sorry, guys. Right. That's my train of thought.
What octopus has to do to be intelligent?
I think, once again, this is only my guessing, and
Yeah,
I have to
yeah,
look it up.
That's
I think
the
you find
purpose
they'd
of
have to form some sort of structure.
You're popular.
I am popular. They have to form form social structures and advanced type of complex systems. So, for example, that don't rely on each other. So, for example, I can't bake a pie. I have to go buy a pie from someone else.
Well, you can bake a pie, but like it's the basically. I don't want to say government per se, but like that type of social structure of like, you'll have an octopus farming fish, and then you have an octopus farming, or not farming, but like, doing logistics to make sure.
I think
all
Sapiens talks about that, this changing in what, that changing in what makes civilization from being, hunter-gatherer civilization to being, how the civilization changes. So you've got to develop a civilization, and then the civilization has to develop into it, I think, into, something that can build structures.
Same person again, denied.
I should have left my phone out, I'm really sorry.
No,
so I
fine.
suspect, without, and you probably Google it better than I can make it up myself, but I suspect you need
we'll make it up.
to build things. Building things, you someone specialising in an area. So one life, part of intelligence is building something for someone else to use, and they build you something for someone else to use in that society.
Yeah. So
maybe.
So this comes down to the question of, do we think, and this is a thing that I don't think we'll ever have an answer to in our lifetimes, there are intelligent octopuses out there in other planets, or aliens in general.
It's so you got the Fermi paradox.
Yes.
Which is the idea that there's so much the formula is, it works out, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
but it's the number of Earth-like planets, or planets that sustain life.
Yeah. And
when you look at how many planets that would be able to sustain life, it's massive. It's a crazy amount of number. And the thing is, well, if there's a crazy amount of numbers of planets that can sustain life, where is it? Where are they? Where's all the aliens? I think.
But that's so. This is, I think, where we start to differ a bit. That's life. That's not intelligent life.
No, that's right.
Do we think there's intelligence?
Well, I think that might formulate into intelligence as well. Do we think there's intelligent life? Well, it's probably. Look, the thing is,
we know one.
We only know one. But the thing is, there may be intelligent life, but they may not be curious.
Yeah, that's true.
They might just don't care.
I remember hearing a story. I think this is a similar sciencey story from that video about that first freak story. It might be another thing. I can't quite remember where it's from. They basically brought up the idea of if spiders were aliens, and how they just won't have the type of viewing of the world that humans do. So if there is intelligent life out there, they might not think to use telescopes because they don't use their eyes. They use, radiomagnetic waves or some other random shit.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So there could be intelligent life out there. We won't. Do you need to answer that?
No.
Just. Alright.
Just keep turning off.
I don't think we will. I don't think human society will come across other intelligent life outside of us until we are able to be that other intelligent life or other.
So what you're talking about is the stages of civilization. So stage 1, 2, and 3 civilizations. So,
which I don't quite.
So
remember
we're not even a stage 1 civilization yet, which is the ability to harness our own. You harness the entire. The power of your sun, so you start building things like Dyson spheres and things, so you utilise the entire power of your planet.
Is that not just science fantasy?
No, not really. Well, it is fantasy, but it's possible.
A Dyson spheres.
Yeah. Possible. If you had the resources, we're sort of getting to the point where we're looking at mining asteroids and things now.
Yeah.
So because there's a lot of resources and a lot on asteroids and things, and we're starting to have technology where we can do that. We won't be building a Dyson sphere in the near future that I would foresee. But as a civilization goes, that's taking the power of their their local system. The Type 2, I think, is taking the energy of expanding out to other solar systems.
Yeah.
And then the final type is the ones that can, travel between massively between solar systems. So we're not even at the Type 1 stage yet. So this is what people keep looking for when they see Betelgeuse. Well, not Betelgeuse, because that is doing weird things. Dimming of stars and things.
Yeah.
Tabby star.
Betelgeuse. Can you remind me of that? It rings a bell. I can't.
Betelgeuse is a red giant that's in its last stages of its life, and it's starting to fade in and out. So it pulsates generally, but now it's doing weirder things, and they suspect that it might go supernova very soon.
Okay.
But that's unsettled. I'm thinking of ones like this Tabby star, a star which when they observed it, it dimmed in a regular fashion. And they were thinking that,
someone put something
it could be a Dyson sphere around it. Well, it's dimming because, aliens have built a power source around this stuff. It doesn't look like that's what it is at the moment. It's probably dust clouds or asteroids.
The fact we can see that far, would we not pick up a signal? Because would you not have to be somewhat loud to be at the stage of building a Dyson sphere?
It's because of...
cosmic loud, making red.
Well, you're restricted by the speed of light. So no matter you think about all our radio signals and everything we've done on our planet wouldn't even have reached the end of our galaxy yet. Wouldn't even. It's only the time we've been making a noise, you'd never pick it up. And it's the same with other aliens. They may be doing. So
that star that's having the Dyson sphere built. If they're building that, we would have already picked up their loudness at this point. If we see a star, it's like, gee, that star's getting dim. Let's consider it's a Dyson sphere. Would we not have any type of hearing? Because surely they'll be loud enough way before.
Well, if you do pick it up, depending on where it is, you're still behind the time. You're still way even if you're looking at Alpha Centauri, which is only, I think, 3 or 4 light years away.
That's our closest, isn't it?
Yeah. And or Rigor, whatever it's called. So you're still looking at light years. A lot of these things are, hundreds, maybe thousands of light years away.
Yeah.
So even if you had a signal or had something indicating that there's something weird or something trying to contact you, this is a long. How do you communicate across such a distance? What do you do with that?
Yeah, it's basically in the past when you look up there. That being the fact, then, if you look up there and you're seeing the past, we would not see intelligent life.
Well, unless it's formed already.
Yeah, unless if it's formed, millions of years before us.
And they'd have to be way advanced to us, but someone we could be waiting before we get civilized enough to build, say, Dyson spheres every million years.
So this brings me to the question: what if we're maybe not the only first, but one of the first able to be intelligent life?
Yep.
I'm trying to keep track of my train of thought. We won't, we're the first.
Yep.
I remember, I think I've sent you a video link.
Grubby aliens.
Exactly. Because that could still mean that there's no intelligent life.
Yeah, so the principle of the...
That's my phone.
Oh,
that's
what we're going on.
Yeah.
So grubby aliens is a really interesting concept of development of civilizations and their ability to fall apart before they actually gain to a certain...
This coming back to the Ferry paradox? No, the great... Oh, fuck. What am I thinking of?
Not a big mind read.
The things that end those...
Extinction?
No extinction. It's a... Oh, fuck. I forget the word now. It's the Great Barriers or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know you mean. I can't remember. Yeah.
Because it's like... if intelligent life is out there, we would notice it by now. If we don't, it's one of these reasons. And they collapse at, the early stage, or they collapse at...
Yeah.
And it's like the whole point, or the idea of the thought experiment, I feel like it's a thought experiment, is the fact that we don't see intelligent life out there, because it's already gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that's the case, then there's a barrier that humanity is going to reach where they can't be the intelligent race either. Do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah, that's once again a pretty complex thought experiment, and I haven't really
delved into
examined that enough to give a solid opinion on it. But I think what happens is, and we often do this, is we look for intelligent life. We're looking for something like us because this is the only example we've got, and what we get is the classic, aliens must look like us too, which you have the classic big head, round eyes type things come up.
Yeah.
Because
unlike the spider aliens.
Yeah, I think evolution would be
more
highly
likely
improbable that you'd have another species that looks like us. I think that would happen. But I also think that the difficulty you got is the fact that we're a really tiny planet in a really obscure part of the galaxy in a really obscure solar system. Why would somebody with the power, and it'd take a lot of effort even if you're an advanced civilized race, why would you make all that effort to come to this really obscure place and then not actually interact with people except at night on the dark side of a road? It just boggles my mind.
Well, that comes down to the fact where, though, I'm pretty sure those type of people who believe in those, common occurrence of aliens, at the Area 51, they've definitely seen aliens and stuff. It's like they kind of want the world to seem smaller. They want those aliens to be the universe is big, but they're just next door type of thing. And I think there's weird comfort in that.
I think too that it also, one of those classic beliefs that people have is they have a belief and they try and fit the world to suit their belief.
Yeah.
They want the aliens to be real, so therefore, they squish the world around. They
find where aliens could be.
Yeah. And it must be, if you can't find them, there must be a conspiracy. And it keeps coming up. And one interesting thing while we're talking about aliens and other things was that NASA, I just saw recently a YouTube release or media release about their UFA, which is basically UFOs, but they changed the name of it. It's a serious NASA or part of the organisation to investigate weird objects, unknown objects.
Shit they don't know.
And 90% of them, I think they said 99.9% have a logical explanation. Even though it's particularly weird, it's got a logical explanation. One of the ones they can't explain at the moment, which is a pretty interesting phenomenon, is these metal balls that seem to turn up around, floating around.
What, like Earth atmosphere?
Yeah,
or just
just around they've been filmed by aircraft, they've been filmed by people, these look like metal balls that just appear and move around. Now, eventually I'm sure there's going to be an explanation for it, but it is pretty weird.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's not aliens, but it's just a phenomena that's kind of, they go, we can't expect it. They showed a picture of them, we don't know what this is. It's a little bit weird at the moment.
Yeah.
So, that inspires, that sort of thing then makes people go, oh man, we don't know, there you go, that's aliens.
Yeah, see, like, here's the thing though, those people aren't fucking scientists.
Yeah,
there'll be scientists who will be like, they'll see that, like, what the fuck is that? Let's try and figure it out. Not, what the fuck is that? Must be aliens.
Yeah, because you can't, that's pretty much unsciencey, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have your conclusion before you've got your evidence.
Yeah. So, like, despite us not knowing what the fuck it could be, that's...
We don't know a lot of things, which is,
mostly ignorance. This comes down to the fact where I think we are a really young race in the galaxy, basically. Like, humans...
So I think we talked about this before it came up as youth. You were saying that, I think when we spoke about it, that you reckon you got my tongue around it, that there could be no intelligent life except us.
Not quite that, but like we are one of the only firsts. Like
that's a possibility too.
Yeah, I
think that,
and I look around, at everything, and I can't, like, we're not at that sci-fi level yet. Where, the Jetsons, like, 2020 we'll be flying around in spaceships and stuff.
Well, you go back to 50 years and we are pretty much in science fiction times.
Yeah, but, like, it comes to the point where there's still so much more potential of us to reach.
I think it's interesting too that we don't know.
Yeah.
You don't, because you look back 50 years and you look at how futurists predicted what was going to be like in 2000, and we had flying cars. But that's all they could extrapolate from that time. And again, come back to science fiction, you can only extrapolate from what you got.
Yeah, coming back to the sci-fi as a whole, and it's like what we're extrapolating from now is still probably driving around in cars and vehicles on land.
I'm very disappointed we don't have flying cars.
I think it's a lot safer. I think cars are dangerous enough.
I don't care. I want a flying car.
Fair enough. Well, to be honest, at this point, drones are like getting to the point where it's like, actually, because I remember seeing like videos of like old Discovery videos and something like, this person's starting a foundation to make cars actually flyable and stuff, and it's like the idea is there, but like the technology is.
But I think also it's not a practical thing to have a car flying.
No,
as you said, it's probably it's bad enough having a car that drives.
Like the only reason why people want it is because it's like you can avoid traffic and stuff. But I think
traffic, you wouldn't have air traffic.
Yeah, well, I think what's more likely going to happen is self-driving cars will be to the point where it's like, safer than humans driving.
Yeah, I think self-driving cars will be something we'll see prevalent in our life, and mostly electric vehicles will be a thing too. Like you want to go to Adelaide, you jump in your car, you push your button, and away you go.
Yeah, like it's basically like a personal bus. You don't have to think about it, and like there'll be like sections of highways that's like designated for.
And it would be safer. It would be safer than humans driving.
I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about the jets and like the future. We're not.
We're not.
Extrapolating.
Yeah, we're not. like, yeah, so I think the stuff that we can extrapolate from now, like our sci-fi is, like, for example, the Jetson, like, we expected flying cars and, like, you know, space travel and, like, you know, 3D printing food and stuff, which we're getting close. I do think it's slower than what the past thinks, but faster. Hello, Mum, we're live if you want to say hi to chat.
Mostly Mum. Speaking
She
of aliens,
says she hates you.
speaking of aliens,
That's an alien right there. But yeah, so here's my thing of, like, there is so much potential for what humans can, or what intelligent life can be, like the spacefaring, like, you know.
Yeah.
I want to, like you said, oh, you take your self-driving AI car to Adelaide. I want to take my self-driving spaceship to Mars or something to, you know, have a holiday over there. And I think once that starts happening, like, which is shorter than we think, but further away than
we will, like, I think one of the big things that's it hobbles us again is time. Like, we'll be able to, whether we colonise Mars, we'll certainly Mars will be a place that will be colonised. The Moon's going to be colonised. Now, the stretch is they're sending now a ship to Io on the moons of Jupiter.
Yeah.
Now, but it's just no matter, like, even at,
it just takes time.
yeah, we don't have they've now got a lot of. I think one of the things that people working on, including like your NASA's and SpaceX, and that is the propulsion systems that can accelerate you close to the speed of light. At the moment, we're nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Nowhere near it.
Like, I think all our, like, and this is coming, like, I think that type of, like, you know, close to light speed or faster. I think there's theories of it people have, but I don't think that's, like, that's more just theory crafting. I think humans will become a spacefaring civilization, as in, like, we will use cryopods and we will just slog it the slow way.
We might end up having some other system that we
just can't.
Like, you look now, we couldn't imagine what we have, like iPhones and things like that.
Pretty sure you did imagine iPhones before they were.
Well, we can't. Well, maybe you kind of did, but you just don't.
Well, it comes to a fact of, like, you see a gap in, like, you know, oh, like, I hate driving my car. Like, oh, I hate riding my horse and carriage everywhere. I wish, you know, I didn't have to stop to feed it hay or something. And, like, you're like, oh, I wish that, you know, a horseless cart would be a thing. And, like, this is, like, if there's something that's, I use the word annoying. I'm not sure if that's the right way of describing it, but if there's something that annoys enough of society, they will invent a way to.
Well, we're lazy too. So generally, what happens is if there's something that gives you don't want to do, humans find a way of making it easier for themselves, and that's basically what we do. That's, you know, we're driven by, you know, hammer, like, that's what happens, and curiosity drives us too.
Yeah.
But it also could be careful because it could kill us, like with current AI stuff too. So
yeah, well, weapons, and this comes down to the fact that this could be one of those great blockers of, you know, AI being, you know, stopping humans reaching the potential of being a spacefaring civilization. But, like, because we're not there yet, like, we don't do all these trips. It's why, and, like, humans are really fucking young in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, shit, yeah. When you look at the screen, yes, yeah.
And because humans have intelligence, I find intelligence be very fucking young in the grand scheme of our galaxy.
Well, we don't know so much. Like, we keep talking about, you know, so the classic thing is we don't see the world for what as it really is. Like, we only see a world like our light spectrum. We can't see all the light spectrum. We can't see microscopic or macroscopic. We can only see, you know, and live within this realm. Like, there's different worlds within our world, and we only think this is reality, and it's not reality. It's just a segment that is sitting.
It's what we see within our head, basically.
Yeah, it's a perception of the world we live in. So these things are not permanent. It's just that we only have a very short length of time, and we go, well, that's an arm of a chair.
Plastic is pretty fucking permanent.
You got a good point,
Yeah.
but in a billion years, it won't be there.
Well, yeah, unless if we keep making it, but that's
Well, the sun will get that big then and swallow the
yeah.
earth up. So,
but like this is why I think like, you know, we are, because humans' intelligence is really young. There was no intelligent before us. There was like no dinosaurs building, you know, homes and cars and stuff, which makes me think, and this is just more theory crafting because this is no way to be proved. And this comes to the fact that I don't think other aliens are out there because intelligence, from our perspective, is so baby, like so young, so small that it hasn't had time to grow into one of these great alien races. And I suspect, and I can't prove this either or, that humans are the first, if not one of the only first to.
And we have no way of knowing.
We have no way of knowing, and we won't know because like there's like probably 5 different barriers, like AI. You know, maybe space travel is actually impossible and we don't have it yet. But it comes to the fact that I don't think intelligence, like the intelligence we have to be able to invent rocket ships and stuff, is as common as.
Well, when you say common, so the other thing the other problem you got is the massive size of the universe.
Yeah.
So you can't. It's so massive, and then you've also got this principle if you're looking at physics of the multiverse theory and things like that, where you know.
It probably is somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so massive that you can't.
So this comes to the fact you have a washing machine, right? And a dryer. You put your clothes in there, you dry it, you open the door and a mess. One day, you use the dryer, you open the door, all your clothes are going to be perfectly folded.
Yeah.
I believe human intelligence is... don't want to say perfectly folded because I don't think we're at that stage yet. But do you understand?
I know what you're saying. So it's an odd. You look at the odds of the fact that you even exist in the first place, like I exist or you exist. You look at how the odds of surviving or even being conscious are pretty slim. And I know what you're saying because you can.
Like just the fact that we have 2 brains. Like these are very unique developments towards our intelligence to be.
Well, there's a survival. I mean, when you look where our brains come from, I mean, they come from a survival mechanism to try and keep us alive and to keep us fed, and we've used it now for doing other things, and sort of touches on a little bit of the mental health issues we spoke about last time, because we're still our mind is still
we're still animals.
Yeah, we're still basically animals, but we now have a perception and understanding of ourselves in a future, and we build things, and now we can actually know we exist, and we're babies looking out and going, well, where's everybody else? Like, where are they? So, you're right. It could be a unique fluke of nature, but it's also the problem.
I don't want it to be a unique fluke of nature. Like, I really like the idea, but I also don't. Like, I also think it's not a bad way of thinking that we are special.
Well, and that's true, but you've also got to remember that the dryer folding your washing you look at an infinite size. It will happen. It's probably happened lots of times. It's pretty rare and pretty unusual, but it's got to, and the expanse is so big that it. It's probably happened.
It comes to that the Fermi paradox equation that I again, I'm no fucking scientist. I can't prove this. This is just my current lizard brain theory that there's more to that than we are capable of understanding currently. Like there's some fluke that's happened on Earth that is a fluke that happens a lot less likely on other planets that we can't.
Well, we can't say that because we don't know.
You exactly.
It might happen. It might be happening all the time, but we're restricted by distance.
Yeah.
Even if it only happened.
But it could also be the totally opposite as well. There's like the size makes it less likely that it doesn't happen often, but like.
But even if it happened, even if we're the only life in this galaxy, and which is, I mean, our galaxy is, like amazingly big. Like
yeah. The universe is even
stars.
bigger.
So you've got that many. If you remember the deep space that Hubble did,
yeah,
and also now
the
thumbnail
the
spot in the
thumbnail
sky.
in the dark spot in the sky.
Yeah, and there's thousands of galaxies. So you think there's just infinite numbers of galaxies with infinite numbers of stars. That's for nothing to be happening in any. Mostly it's probably nothing. There's a lot of rubbish stars and a lot of rubbish planets. We know, we've seen lots. We know there's lots of planets now.
Yeah.
So if there's just the sheer volume and numbers means that I think that this has to be something. Whether it's intelligence like we'd like it to be.
Yeah, like the rocket building intelligence, not the electromagnetic telescope type of spider.
So there could be aliens that are just doing their own shit that don't
have the ambitions.
Don't really give a shit, or you don't know how their society works. You don't know.
Yeah.
Whether they have a society. We've only got this. It comes back to thinking about science fiction. All we can do is play science fiction games with what we know. But these people, or not even people, these beings, intelligent things, may be so different to us. They may be silicon based and maybe in stones or something.
I need to find about that book or something about the spider aliens, because that's really interesting in the fact that they just don't know how to understand with us, like the communication.
Well, that's another thing too. Like the communication systems might be something. I mean, you think of octopuses talk to each other by flashing colours, like their skin changes colour.
So we probably have seen aliens and we just wouldn't notice because it's not something.
Because it's just not so way outside, you wouldn't even consider it. An interesting thing, this is slightly off the subject, but it's still on the subject, is that they did some years ago, they did some research into our DNA to see if we had were planted, if our DNA is alien, because there may have been a message placed in our DNA by aliens. So you do the DNA just to see if, it's an out there concept, but it's an interesting out there concept.
Yeah, like.
Hence where science fiction's born from.
And I think at the end of this discussion, we can't prove fucking shit. It's so far out of our time, let alone space, that all we can do is these theory crafts. I still like the idea, and this keyword being I like the idea of humans are being a super young, intelligent race. Being the first alien that, there will be other intelligent life out there, and they will, put telescopes up trying to see, hey, I wonder if there's aliens out there, and then they'll hear like...
We'll be a type 3 civilization by this stage.
I think those types... I think we'll be a lot slower, but I do think we will be the aliens for other races. I think we're that early that...
I mean, we could be. We could upload our intelligence into machines.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we'd be human then, though.
Oh, that's a whole nother discussion. That's a whole nother kettle of worms. I like that idea. That's a really interesting idea of what makes humans.
Yeah. Human. What makes you a human?
Yeah.
I mean, you could still be an AI in that computer and have your own personality and everything, and does it still make you...
Well, that comes down to the whole, we're in the Matrix and everything we see is just like our brain being programmed, which
Brain in a jar.
Yeah.
That's a philosophical point or point of discussion too, you could be a brain in a jar,
Yeah, which I think we'll save that for later.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be another 40-minute, 50-minute discussions.
Yep. All good.
What did we have in chat? Mellaby says star seeds we are made of star stuff, one of their favourite quotes, which is true.
Yeah, it is.
But
very atoms are forged in the hearts of supernova. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because at the start of everything it was just, what, hydrogen and...
It was heavy. It was nothing. It wasn't neither. It was at the very start. It wasn't. It was just hot, dense energy.
So
and expanded.
Yeah.
At the moment, this is what they think, but this is sort of up in the air a bit because they've discovered galaxies that shouldn't be there at the moment. So
have we?
Yeah. So James Webb Telescope's found galaxies 36.4 billion light years out, which is just not long after inflation. So a galaxy shouldn't be there because they shouldn't have had time to form.
Right.
That's kind of throwing things.
Yeah, I would like to know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer yet.
Yeah, I think they're still learning.
You have to become a physicist or a.
You got called my younger brother with white beard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which.
Your younger brother.
Yeah. We're not that different in age, I'm sure. Does chat have anything else they want to add before I pass you? You can go get tea if you want. I'm just going to say goodbye to chat.
No worries. I'll see everyone later.
Yes, thanks for the discussion.
Thank you. I'll go and find out what my phone was ringing for.
Yeah. I'll say goodbye to chat and
we'll see you next week.
Yes, next week. I need to get off because my legs are getting numb.
People can send us ideas of what.
Yes. I think in my Discord I've got like a suggestion thing.
Suggestion box.
Yeah, basically. So people are... If you want us to talk about something, I can always find topics for us to talk about. I think religion is going to be one of those things I'll have a discussion with. Do you think aliens are... See, this is my thing. I don't think they are. I think we are the aliens. I think we will be the first. Yes, we do have new channel rewards. I won't hear any of the audio stuff. I might stream some Victoria later tonight. I started playing Victoria today. We streamed and then we did our podcast. I'm going to stop and get food. Alright. Well, I feel like I should raid out. Who do we have worth raiding? What do you guys think of these podcasts? It is nice to get feedback. I will put it in on YouTube somewhere. And we'll give Soli a raid. Soli, yes, corruption, thank you. I did figure it out. And we'll give Soli a raid. I like the podcast. Good stream. Yeah, I like it too. I often get nervous about it, but that's just social anxiety for you. Alright, get ready to spam mostly raid, and I shall pass you on. I want to be an alien. Technically we are an alien to someone, but that's another kettle of worms. Alright, thanks for watching. I think everyone here is already a follower and followed the Discord, but if you haven't followed Soli, now's your chance. And join the Discord. Alright, see ya, boy!
When my car doesn't go for fucking... Yo! Hey dude, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? You gotta see if you can find more iron. Yo. That sounds fun. I don't know. I don't mind it. Yeah, that's correct. I don't know. It's like getting used to it. It's interesting. Alright. Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't like. I haven't played much of it to be honest. I just need more iron. So we're going hunting for iron. I've fulfilled my mod duties. Yeah, go give Nib a follow. One of my favorite streamers. I'm gonna get food, that's fair. Go get some good food. Yeah, so the only way to do it, that's not great. Let's not go that way. That would be bad. Let's go this way. I just realized it's getting dark also, so let's go get food.
In end stream.